Welcome YouTube to my newest series. We're going to start reviewing kart tracks across the UK. Not just exclusively team sport venues, but as it's the most common thing I do, we might as well start off with their newest track. So let's get into it. A super serious track review of High Wycombe? Yeah, that.
I only came to know the track. What's it like?
Honestly, it's mid.
It's like a really roller coaster.
Oh, you can't say that.
Yeah, no I can. It's my video and this is a dictatorship. So at least let's go through a lap. Here we go onto the start, straightish with a turn to the right, followed by a wide hairpin to go down a very steep ramp. Immediately into a hairpin which takes us down yet another ramp. Into a high speed right, immediately into a hairpin, making braking very tricky here. Into another hairpin. Note that black stuff on the ground. We'll come back to that later. Now a long right-hander. Into a quick left that then sets us up for another wide hairpin. Now we go up a very steep ramp section, ideally hitting the apex, but I definitely didn't there. Over the crest into a flying right-hander, and then immediately turning again for a slalom at the end of the lap, bringing us across the line and into a right-hander again. So, that was a rollercoaster lap. Why did I say it's mid? There are no straights! Yes, I know. Corners make good drivers, straights make good cars or whatever. But honestly, even driving against the general public, it just seemed there was nowhere to overtake, and due to the very low grip and the tightness of the track, it just seems designed to follow and nothing else. Speaking of low grip, watch how little throttle I'm using through this slalom, and I'm still getting wheel spin. The smooth concrete is just an ice rink at the moment, and there's only 2 spots on the entire track with grip. These 2 spots have a rubber matting on the outside, which just has oodles of grip. Why is this not on the whole track? Why would you tease us like this?
We were on the verge of greatness. We were this close.
So we'll give it a 6 out of 10. I love the ramps, and to be honest, if the layout had any overtaking points like some straights and some grip, it would be brilliant. It's a proper roller coaster of a lap, and in terms of harshness, it's a 0 out of 10. A toddler could do laps of this track for an hour and would be absolutely fine.
I don't like racing. Is there stuff to do?
Yep, there is other stuff to do. There's pool tables, but they were unplugged at the time, so we're not counting them. There was a punch machine, multiple arcade machines, but my god, they're old. I mean, that Transformers one is Human Alliance, and I'm pretty sure when I was a kid that got released with Revenge of the Fallen in 2009 or something? There's also 2 cricket ball machine things, but with the age and everything of all this stuff, the fact that the pool tables were unplugged, it's got to be a 1 out of 2.
What's the gaff like?
Upstairs, it's amazing. It's got great viewing areas and it is very well furnished. But then it's massively let down by the trackside downstairs. The briefing room and changing rooms are just basically construction zone that was left there. It's really poor. And for any of those with mobility issues, this track is not for you. To get to the karts, you must climb a silly amount of steps. To a lot of people, it's nothing, but that is just something to know.
That's 3 flights. It's 4 flights. I'm tired now, aren't I?
It is a nice setup, easily could be a 10, but those points of the awful accessibility and what basically amounts to a construction zone for the changing rooms, that makes it a 7 out of 10.
This racing has made me hungry. Should I eat here?
Outcomes. Look at that. Overcooked on the bottom, crispy as and it looks like Gandhi's flip-flop.
Honestly, the chips were alright, but the burger was awful. Massively overcooked, and the bottom bun was like a dinner plate. It shattered into pieces as I bit it. But it was all still edible, so I'll be generous and give it a 4 out of 10.
Was it well ran?
The short answer, no. It was running well over an hour behind, and I ended up leaving before I could even do my 3rd session as I'd booked on for a 3 for 2. I was scheduled to be on track at 8:40 and I didn't get off my 2nd race until 10:40. The next session would not be kitted up and the karts weren't ready to go as the last group came in, and my group's briefing only started at time I should have been on track, leading to a lot of lateness. It then got held up as I was about to get into my car, I got booted from my group by a random staff member upstairs to a later group, and then they had to waste time re-adding me to the session. However, we do have 3 gems of staff. The 2 track side marshals, as I was booted from the session, clearly had no experience, but they did make it their mission to get me sorted, get me back onto the correct session. And they were great. The second one, during session 2, I was having some issues with the car, and some simple hand gestures was all I needed to do to communicate with the marshal what was going on, and he at least attempted to do something about it. So the staff get a 5 out of 10. Speaking of kart issues,
What do you think to the karts there?
now I do love electric karts indoors, which is controversial, but I do think electric karts suit indoor karting to a T. And they do have a place, but these are the new generation of beers, which I do prefer the sodies, so I'm going to knock a point off for that. And I'm also knocking off another point for this. So here my kart kept dropping down into speed 3 from speed 2 at random. The marshal I signalled to clearly had something done because it then kept going back up to speed 3, but then it kept dropping back down to speed 2 at random. And then once that finally stopped happening, another issue reared its head. The throttle pedal wouldn't go all the way down without really pressing on it, so it was either slam it to 100% or no throttle whatsoever, which on a high grip circuit would have been absolutely fine, but on a track that's pretty much made out of ice, it made it impossible to set any decent lap time. So my kart experience was good overall, but we'll give it an 8 out of 10.
So what did you think overall?
Overall, it gets a score of 31 out of 52.
That's a random target score.
I don't care, this is my video, Brian. So this track I'd definitely say is worth a visit for some fun or a party, but expect to be running late and for it to be less than ideal changing rooms. The track is fun and flowing, but I wouldn't say it's going to provide the best experience to those serious about racing. But overall, the score is over 50%, so hey, I recommend going to Teamsport High Wycombe. Brian, please help.
High Wycombe.
And if you enjoyed that review, please like and subscribe. As you can probably tell by the table, there's going to be quite a few more track reviews coming out in the next few weeks, along with the usual awful content I like to do. Some fun or a party, but expect to be running late, and